Okay. Let's see how this goes. The internet is not fixed yet, so we're still dealing with the bugs that we've been dealing with. Totally random. They have to replace my neighbor's line. It's nothing wrong with my house. My neighbor's line is so bad it all comes to the junction right here in front of my house, and their line is so bad it's screwing up everybody's connection. So they got to come out and bury a new line, which could take more than it ain't going to happen today. So if we have the little problems with the internet, there's nothing I could do. We just have to grin and bear it. And nobody's more frustrated about it than I am. So there's that. All right. Who we got, huh? We got David, Derek, Colin, Ryan, Craig. How you guys doing? Yeah, David, I watched that video too. It came up on my feed today too about Marchand and Lundell Luosterainen. Yeah. I saw that too. Came up in my feed. A lot of that's a lot of effort to make those videos. The editing on that is tremendous. Drew, how you doing? Hungry. Yeah, it is what it is, right? Occam's, Icy. Jason, how you doing? But yes, let's close this out. Yeah, I'm sure they use AI to edit a lot of that stuff. I'm going to try to upgrade my game this summer. I will be well, we'll save that for another time, but it's going to be a good summer. Let's just put it that way. Scientist says reset, refocus, and do it again. Bubby. That's why we have a Bobby. IDK, I know, right? Well, did we not want the series to go on? I'm confused. I actually wanted it to go on. Hey, JDC, you actually here on time? David, we appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that, man. It's gone on long enough. Gotcha. Yeah, let's finish this. IDK, you didn't want it to go on any longer? Well, one more stream is a little bit more money in my pocket before hockey ends. So if they all went 7 games, except the Panthers, all the other ones could have gone 7 games, but no. So it's what it is. Wahala. Will it be a good summer if we trade Lundell and Salmon to make cap space for Marner? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But that's not enough. It's got to be Lundell, Samo, Rodriguez. And you might even have to throw in another guy there. Definitely. Absolutely. Marner is clutch, man. Absolutely. Make him the highest paid player on the team. No doubt. No doubt. Definitely not hungry. IDK, that's what she said. Is that Fleet? I can't read that one. That one's tough on my eyes here. Let's see. That is Fleecy. Fleecy U. Okay. It's a new name, so I didn't know it by heart. So my teacher said if I get the Leafs score right tonight, he'd get you a pizza. You said 6-2 Panthers. That sounds about right. Soul says someone else can keep Marner. No thanks. That's putting it politely, right? That's putting it politely. I just wonder how his value is going to be affected if the series continues the way it's been. Greg says Cooper Black into the ditch for Marner. Colin says no lineup changes via Pomo and Erod is day to day. Let him rest. There's no need for us to rush him back, if it's concussion related, which I think we all assume it is. It's a winning lineup, right? Hey, Andrew, how you doing, bud? David says, watch Dangle for the first time because of here, and he had a good point. All the Leaf stars disappear in the playoffs, tear it down and start over. You got to figure if they lose Marner and Tavares are gone, but it's whether or not they're going to move anybody of Matthews or Nylander. So, actually, didn't Marner get mad that Toronto tried to trade him for Rand? Yeah, he had a no move clause, and he wouldn't waive his no move or no trade, whatever it was. Oleschka says, I'm sorry, but the Leafs are not scoring more than one tonight. Fair. Let them get the first goal, and then we'll get 5 straight. You know? Yeah, the Zamboni rant's a masterpiece for sure. Craig says Marner and Tavares to Ottawa or Montreal. Now, that would definitely not hurt Montreal. I don't know if they do both of them. Tavares on Montreal might be help those kids out a little bit. Fly, I can't say that, Fly guy. Hey Ryan. Yeah, bye-bye Ovechkin. Did you guys see that? I mean, that game is already in overtime. Up here, that Washington game last night is already in overtime. And Logan Thompson lets in it took him like 5 tries to get a camera angle that could actually figure out how the puck got in the net. Bad goal. Bad goal to end your season. That was just, to say deflating is an understatement. Dylan says, I don't think the Leafs could trade Matthews or Nylander due to the big contracts. I guess it just depends on if they're going to throw in anything else or eat some salary. But I don't think that they would. I think they would just let Marner and Tavares go and go from there. Andrew says the Panthers are negative 245 favorites. I don't think Vegas will pay. Maple Leafs, then again, I've been underdog all series. First 2 games were plus 130. Jeez, minus 245. Hey, Kenneth. Kenneth hasn't given up hope. I'm proud of you, Kenneth. Don't give up hope yet. It's still only game 6, right? There's still, anything can happen. Anything can happen. We just don't want anything to happen. We just want a continuation of the last 2 games to happen. Jason says, no way. We score first, keep firing. Bob's doing good. Just stay locked. No games, no jokes. Just finish them off. I like it. I like it. It'd be very telling to see how they really come out, how the Leafs come out. Like, are they going to be over exuberant? Are they going to be jumping from the gun to try to prove the narrative wrong? Or is it, Panthers get an early goal and the Leafs just, Scientists, what are my thoughts on the possible 2023 Eastern Conference rematch? Well, what I'll say about it is that during the regular season, we had a lot of trouble with the Capitals. That's what I'll say. Now, when you're playing the Canes, basically the series is going to come down to bounces, puck luck. I mean, for the most part, because every game's going to be 2-1. Which goalie gives up a softie? Does the puck go off the defenseman's skate and in? Or does it go off the defenseman's skate and hits the post and doesn't go in? That's the decider against Carolina when they're going to play Florida. It's just little teeny tiny things. Occam, yeah, Marner rejected the move to Carolina. Yeah. But Ryan's okay though. Ryan's allowed to troll. At some point, if you do it long enough, you're not even a troll. You're just the resident malcontent. Ryan's okay. When I sent the instructions to the mods, I specifically said Ryan Ree is okay. James said anything can happen, like Barkov or Bobrovsky. Okay. Yeah. All right. Adios, amigo. He subscribed just to say that. Yeah, he's gone, Olechka. He's gone. I made a subscriber only, so he, he made an effort. He made an effort to make sure he could get that. Congratulations. I guess some people have no life. Right, exactly, 305. Free clout, yeah. I often wonder what actually gets somebody. I mean, how sad does your life have to be? Like, how devoid of actual joy does your life have to be to get a kick out of, I'm going to subscribe and I mean, like, okay. Enjoy the game, brother. Real, yeah. Actually, since hater or not, still positive for the algorithm, right? Soul says, I think they keep it clean and we keep being humble and focused. Let's do this, boys. At least we'll give it all they got. We have to match that. I agree. Colin, somebody was wishing injury to was it Barkov and somebody else? I didn't even finish reading it. They were wishing injury to our guys, so they just got insta-banned. Drew needs to give his parents their computer back, right? I mean, toddlers have phones now, so, you never know, some 6-year-old. I hope they did, you know what I mean? Like, you don't never know if it's like a 6-year-old. So David says, if the Panthers advance, do you think it comes down to Brindamore out-coaching Pomo? I don't know. I don't think Brindamore would out-coach Pomo, to be honest. I think the Panthers have more options at their disposal if we need to make adjustments mid-series. I think we've got more options. We can go with a little variety here or there in our lineups. I think if adjustments need to be made like we did with Toronto, I think we have we have multiple things at our disposal that could kind of change the look and feel of what we do just slightly. Comments said, I figured out who on the rest of the team hasn't scored. Did Sturm score? Let's see. I don't think Gadjevich has a goal. I think we could start there. Did Samoskevich get a goal or not? That's 2. I don't remember if Sturm got one. I think everybody else I can remember has one. Felicia says Edmonton and maybe the Jets are Canada's only hope for the Cup this year. Edmonton is they look good. They look good, and Dallas is still dicking around with Winnipeg. That could go 7. Rodriguez. Gadjevich tipped the Nosek shot. That's right. That's right. So then, but then Nosek, did Nosek get another one, or is Nosek the one? Axel says Sturmy, Rod, and Samo. I thought Forsling got one. I think there was another one where we thought it was Forsling and it got tipped. Somebody look at the stats. Yeah, Greer has, right. Well, Hollis says, not going to lie, a little bit disappointed that Samo's out of the lineup. Yes, I don't disagree. Hey, thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Right back at you. God bless you, Jaws. I appreciate that. And God bless the internet, right? God bless the internet at my house. For those of you that missed the beginning of the show, it's my neighbor's line. They have to bury my neighbor's line again. They got to replace their line. It's causing havoc with all the local houses. So we know what the problem is. It should be fixed soon, but it ain't going to be fixed today. All the trolls talking about how great the Canes are. Forslings was sent by Barkov. Thank you, JDC. Yeah. I had to block a couple guys in the recap, too. In the recap comments. So I mean, it's amazing. You guys have seen this. When the whole thing happened earlier this week, how some of these fans will take something that somebody says and completely twist it to mean something else. There's somebody, some Leaf fan in the last recap said that I was wishing that the Leafs got sick. And it just makes me wonder if they purposefully manipulate the stuff or if they're really that stupid. Either way, they're stupid. But it's just, I don't understand that. In any subject, is like, you realize people are going to know you're making something up as soon as they see the evidence, right? I don't understand that mindset. It hurts my brain. Communist says, Samo, Erod, Sturm, Nosek, and Forsling are the right answers, but except Nosek and Forslings have had tips. Does anybody not have an assist? Steven says combination of both, really, right? Lady says the Leafs media causes their fans to have high anxiety and paranoia, feeding them conspiracies. Is there anybody that doesn't have an assist? Because I know Samoskevich, or like a point. Because looking at that list, I know Samo has a point, Nosek has a point, Forsling has a point. I'm sure Erod's got an assist. Sturm would be the only one that I don't know for sure. It's Sturm. There he goes, scientist. That's the only one then, I think. Sturm is the only guy without a point. I guess that might speak to why he's not in the lineup a little bit, right? Lady, yeah, Dangle pointed out the Leafs are 0-8 under the one ref and 0-9 under the other. Yeah. At some point, you have to look at the common denominator. Bob has no assists. What a bum. IDK. I think they've just been gaslit. Maybe we should just take empathy on them. Maybe the Leaf fans have just been gaslit, and they've got like the Leafs, the team, are like they've got narcissistic personality disorder, and the fans have been gaslit so much that they've got PTSD, and we should have empathy for them. How does that sound? Hey, JC, how you doing, bud? Braga says, I don't think we're going to steamroll the Leafs tonight, but if we get a 3-goal lead, they probably wither. Communist. Yeah, I saw it. Dangle's like, what if you just suck? What if we just suck? Yeah, scientist. Stern's face-off percentage. We got him because his face-off percentage when he was in San Jose this year was like 62%. And Kyle and I were like, oh, my God, 62%? This is going to be great. And then he's not been great. IDK, no empathy. All right. JC says Matthews is only good when the defense isn't playing real defense in the regular season. Yeah. There's some guys that are just like that, you know. Actually thinks Nylander and Nyes will be the Leafs' energy. I would assume you're correct. Craig, yeah. The depth is great, but it's the team buy-in. Everybody has to work. Everybody has to work. Verhaeghe's like third or fourth on the team in hits now for the playoffs. He's really widened his game out a little bit. Really, it's good. It makes me feel better about that contract for sure. I hope so too, IDK. Oh my God, Communist, the stream highlights. His eyes with the Marner pass that end up in the back of the net. Watching Dangle is like watching what would have been a future version of myself if I had gone 18 years and the team had never won anything. I can see, like I can watch him in his reactions, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Because that would have been me. There's no doubt in the world. 18 years, that would have been me. I mean, just like your brain, I would have been dead. I'm too old for that. I can see it. I have empathy for him, honestly, on a human level. JC says, how many goals does Matthews have against Panthers in his career? That's a good question. 305, you said, for example, Huberdeau. I didn't want to say it because somebody was going to say Huberdeau was catching a stray, but you said it, so I can agree. Dennis says, last day of work for a bit. Either way, the Leafs made it to my vacation. I'm happy if we lose, so be it. Be cheering for the Panthers next round. You're a good guy, Ken. You're a good guy. I'm sorry. Just like some people say to me, I'm sorry that you ended up with the Dolphins as your team. I'm sorry that you ended up with the Leafs, man. It's got to be rough. Andrew, yeah, Verhaeghe's, he's like a freight train. He's really, and he hasn't had a lot of physicality in his career before this, so his body's fresh enough to do it, right? Felicia says people in Ontario think Austin Matthews is better than Leon Draisaitl. I mean, I don't even know what to. Granted, Matthews had what, like 185 goals last year, whatever it was. But come on, man. If Draisaitl and McDavid are coming down the ice, the game is over. It's over. Just. Progress says Cat's problem with the face-off is their main guys keep getting ejected from the circle. Then you have Reinhart and Swaggy taking face-offs. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that, but that's a good point. David, yeah, Marchand probably getting Verhaeghe some pointers. He said Bennett. Verhaeghe specifically talked about watching Sam Bennett, thinking some of Bennett's game was rubbed off on him. Hey, Damien. Yeah, Dangle pulled a Full Metal Jacket. His eyes, man. I mean, he went cross-eyed. And I'm just like, oh my God, this poor man. Because I can just hear me. I can hear me 9 years from now screaming about Huberdeau. How could you make that pass? I could see it. It's like watching me in the future that never happened because we won. Lady Sky says Matthews has none in the playoffs. Marchand has also never lost to the Leafs in the playoffs. Yeah, real. I love the bit where he was doing the 2 minutes left and he was pretending to do the commentary like it was a 1-goal game. Braga says, Joss, I'm stable. Dangle's always on a wobbler. Well, the first few years of the channel, stable, that's debatable. The worst I ever got was last year after the second period of game 3 against the Rangers. Yeah, that's the worst I ever got. But in my defense, my beard was itchy and my dog was dying. So, Geez, Damon, what if McDavid signed? I don't know where we'd fit him. I don't know where would he play. Be interesting. That would be something else. I don't think the NHL would cease to exist at that point. Drew. JC says the TV commentator said the word shutout about 17 times in the last 5 minutes. Tell me they weren't jinxing it on purpose, and I'll show you a pig that flies. JC, it was my dad. And then when I called him out, what did he say to me? Hold on. This gives you an idea of my father. This gives you an idea of what I grew up with my dad. You want to talk about gaslighting? Where is it? He says, I would like to see it end as a shutout. Less than a minute left. Less than a minute later, Toronto scores, and I said, you had to say the word. And he's like, relax. It's 2 words. I didn't respond. I didn't take the bait. That's my father's epic thing. He'll get somebody going and then tell them, relax, relax. When I was a kid, it worked on me. Green says, I can't even speak to my homie. Right. Yeah, dad troll. Right. Yeah, he trolls. I don't take the bait anymore. Nope, I didn't even respond. He was giving me shit because earlier in the game, like if he has to step away, he says I got to walk away. So earlier in the game, he said I got up for a couple of minutes, and I responded, "That's impressive at your age." So he was just getting me back. Yeah, my dad jinxed in gaslights. Yeah, what a legend. Explains a lot, though, right? Yeah, I use my powers for good, though, JC. Oh, Green Loogie, so you were being serious. I'm sorry, man. I wasn't sure what you were saying. You think he's getting, are you talking about your father's getting dementia or mine? I want to be sure. Either way, I feel for you, man. Yeah, it's good chirps. He was not happy when I said that one. Yeah, okay, Green. So it's your father. Sorry, I'm sorry about that, man. I didn't realize that. That sucks. How old's your dad? JC says it explains why I talk to puppets. Uh-huh. The puppets got good information. The puppets ain't been wrong yet. You'll notice the year we lost to Vegas, I never said the puppets said we were going to win. The puppets ain't been wrong yet. I don't pass on what the puppets tell me unless I know. 64, damn, Green. That's tough. That's tough. Did he have some kind of job or an accident or something that could have led to it, or is it just bad luck? That's so young. Hungy said we all seen Sasha move on the stream as long as he stays downstairs. If he starts walking up the stairs and coming into the bedroom, then I got a problem. As long as he's downstairs, whatever, man. You know, find yourself one of the girl puppets and have at it. Tim says this will be a top-line takeover game. Reinhardt or Barkov hat trick. I like that. I like that idea. So what have the puppets been saying? I cannot divulge. No, I can't say it. I can't say it. I can't tell you what I feel good about tonight. That's what I'll say. You know. No, if they gave me a play-by-play, I wouldn't have financial problems because the whole game I'd be like, hold on, I got to place this bet. Hold on, I got to play. Oh, we scored. Okay, hold on, I got to place this bet. If they talk to me like a play-by-play, I'd be like, don't worry about the super chats. We're good. One number for the Powerball, right? No, Trey, no. Trey. Reinhardt shorty tonight, yeah. So Damian says, do I think in the future we see Makar and the Panthers next year's free agency? I don't think you can afford them. Can you imagine? I mean, what would you do? Forsling and Makar? Would that even be legal? Like, that's not fair. You can't have Forsling and Makar. I mean, there's no way. The league wouldn't approve the contract. Kenneth, yeah, if they do win the Game 7, memes will reign, no doubt. Communist, yeah, the 8 players for 8 points in 9 games, I know. Damien, yeah, we have 40 million, but minus Bennett, minus the goalie, and Ekblad. That cap space is there in those couple of years because you need Lundell needs a contract. The whole fourth line would need a contract. I'm not sure if Mikula is signed past then. There's a lot of contracts that would need to be dealt with before that that take out of that $40 million, including whether or not we're extending Bob or another goalie and a backup goalie. Janaya says, the Leafs can never play big boy hockey when it matters most, probably because most of their skaters are born in the States. That was well done. That was well done. Oh. Trey says, relax. Nothing I ever say happens. Just look at my bracket, right? Hey, Andrew. Thank you, brother. Thank you, bud. Thank you for joining, man. Thank you for joining, buddy. I appreciate that. We should be back next week to most every day for the podcast. That was well done, Janias. Yeah. That was well done. What can you do, right? So, and that's it for the game, the nights that where there would be two games in the same night, right? And that's it. Last night was the last one where there could be two in the same night. I'm going to assume that they wouldn't do this Eastern Conference or Western Conference on the same day. I guess it could happen. I shouldn't assume that, right? Spears, are the Panthers going to try to re-sign Martian? Marshy the Martian. I hope so. There's a whole Jenga pile of contracts. Bennett, Ekblad, Samoskevich. You do need to take into consideration if you're actually considering signing Marchand to a multi-year deal, even if it's just like 2 or 3, you do need to take into consideration Bobrovsky's extension. So there's a whole Jenga pile of contracts. But if he walks into the office and said, give me 2 years at $4 million, you just put Erod on a bus and you do it. Love you, Erod. No offense, buddy, but that's not in question what you would do. Craig says scary would be Marchand to Montreal. Yeah, we can't be giving those kids that kind of help and guidance. That can't happen. Lady says we didn't have to worry about re-signing Ekblad until he actually started playing well. Right? I wonder. Here's a completely made-up conspiracy theory. The only reason Ekblad is playing well is because the team already told him we don't want you back because you took drugs, and now he's trying to put really good, solid film down for wherever he's going to try to go to next. I just made that up. I hope I'm wrong. Steven says, I think Marchand only gets re-signed if another player doesn't want to re-sign. Well, the only guy in the top 9 that's under any is that we need to sign is Bennett. If we keep Bennett and we let Marchand walk, we still got Rodriguez because you still got Bennett, Tkachuk for Hagee, Barkov, Reinhart for Hagee, Bennett, Tkachuk, Samoskevich, Lundell, Lusterine, and Rodriguez. If Bennett stays. The line for Bennett wraps around Publix. Yeah, I bet so, JC. Right? Who said that? Greenlew? No, that wasn't Greenlew. That was JC says Bennett's not going to re-sign. I expect this contract to be $8 to $10 million. We can give him 8. We have 8. I don't have 8, but the team has 8 for sure to give it to him. Right? That's because I knew that I knew a comment was coming from JC about that, so I headed off the comment. Silva says, hold on a second. Chat's moving fast. Rumor from Panthers insiders is that Zito is lowballing Ekblad. Well, what I've learned over the years is that the Panthers insiders never have it right because nobody talks. Any generic information that turns out to be mildly accurate is coincidental. Ain't nobody talking. Ain't nobody know nothing from that team. Because if anybody finds out anything, the leak gets found and gets axed. Just trust the brother on that. Kevin says Habs get Marchand. They might win the division next year. I don't want to see that. Yeah, no, we can't let that happen. Can't let that happen. I would assume he's going to want to go somewhere where he can have a good chance to win. Like why leave Boston? Why not go back to Boston? If you don't, you know what I mean? I mean, I kind of am going to be surprised if he doesn't at least broach it. Whether or not we can afford to keep him or not, I don't know. But if you offer him, sunshine and $10 million spread out over a few years, I'll go down there for $10 million over a few years. I'm a smaller guy, just like Brad Marchand. It could work. Wahala says the market for 2 seasons around the league is thin. I'd hate losing Bennett. At least we already got Lundell signed long term, right? Right? Janias, I hope you're right there, man. I hope you're right. Green, I hope he doesn't go to Toronto. I would be shocked if after everything they just said about him this week, Praga says the Avs effed up losing Ranton and they wouldn't lose Makar. JC, you think Ekblad was yeah, JDC says insiders or agents trying to get interest. Right. Ekblad was offered 4 at 3.5. Isn't that what Mikola's getting about? Or is that a little bit less than what Mikola got? I don't know. That's low ball. That's low ball. Like if you're gonna offer them 3.5, at least make it like $5 million for 5 years, 5 by 5, a little something better. That's low even for me. Trey, who got fired after I leaked the Kachuk? When the puppet, I don't want to tell you. Andrew says, Jaws, are the Panthers paying you yet because the house is bugged? You make crazy good predictions. Yeah. There were a few people that actually thought that whole Kachuk thing. There was a couple people that thought that I actually did have inside information and I was pretending to predict it, to say to trade. Like one guy thought that the team paid me to say it a few days in advance to gauge fan reaction. And I'm like, I get like 400 views, right? It's like I'm not Dangle. There's not 40,000 people going to see this. Like I don't even know if that video has 1,000 views now. but I took it as a compliment. I scroll down to the bottom. John, that ain't going to happen. First off, he's got a no-move clause. He's not going anywhere. But I think they're going to, whatever those good years are, when they traded Spencer Knight, Paul Maurice said the future of the goaltending position here is Sergei Bobrovsky. So, Maurice, morning skate. Thank you, Michael. Progress says, got to keep Sammy short contracts for Bennett and Marchand. Lundell's contract is robbery. Yeah, Tahiti. No doubt. Yeah, Lundell's 5 by 6, right? I hope not, Ryan. Insiders are just pawns of the team, basically. Yeah, the Reinhardt deal, right? And that happened after the season, remember. Fly Guy says, how many more Sturms can you get when your $10 million guys are all start signing for 8? Yeah. Kachukin says, after the third goal, the dangle stream went from 5 to 17,000. Oh, my God. That's crazy. I mean, the 5 is crazy. 17 is absurd. Hey, Pente, how you doing, bud? The most Kyle and I have had was the first United States versus Canada game. We had like 1,700 people between all the formats, platforms. Silva, I don't know. I still talk to Lucas every once in a while. He's doing good. I don't know. It's you have to really love to do this. You know what I mean? Like y'all have made it so I can make it part of my living, and I'm eternally grateful for that. But you have to really want to do it. Like there's been people that have started and then they kind of realize this making a video for every game. This is actually work. You have to stay committed. You know what I mean? It's not, you have to want to do it. And it's easy to want to do it when the team is busy winning cups. But when they're not winning cups, it's easy to get drunk and just go into the back room and yell and scream at the camera. Praga, I do believe most of the fourth lines guys will be back. Yeah. Hey, Michael, I appreciate that, man, about the Caps. Yeah. And the way they lost, just that was a brutal goal at the end for Thompson to give up. Our heads were already in overtime because nothing was happening. And then that puck goes in the net. It was bad. OG says pay Ekblad. Well, we can only pay him so much because now we're paying Seth Jones. So, I mean, it's really, I mean, Zito's gangster, man. Zito is gangster. He traded away a future number one goalie to get Jones, which was Ekblad's money, and then went to Ekblad and said, you'll take what we'll give you and like it. It's like, damn. Gangster. Andrew, I think Bob's got a few good years in him, yeah? So, lady says, Jaws, everyone said Bob was overpaid, but he must have worked a hell of a lot in the last few years. He's talked about his wife having the babies, him having a family is what changed things. They asked him, he said it wasn't so much, he was working too much. It was all day, every day, hockey, hockey, hockey. It never got off of his mind. Now he goes home, wife, baby, hockey kind of goes away, and it's mentally refreshed him. And then so he actually ends up mentally working less, and he's more focused when he's doing the work. Pente says the Lundell contract seems to be really good. At first, I thought maybe a little bit of overpayment, but considering the cap is rising, it's a good deal. Yeah. No, Fly, he's paid, yeah. Yeah, JC Dangle had more viewers in the stream than actual fans in the third period. I know. I'm sure as they were walking out of the arena, as soon as they got signal, they went to his stream, right? Green Loogie says, word in the Maritimes in Canada with Marchand is that he has said in closed groups he'd be most interested in an original 6 team if he goes somewhere. Huh. Interesting. Fly, you were one of those 17Ks. Definitely had a window open. Lady Sky says the NHL promotes Dangle over other channels because he's local to headquarters. They tried to have him cast the game on YouTube and it went bad. Only Leaf fans liked him. He's an acquired taste. He's an acquired taste. And you know what I mean? He's not a national broadcaster type. I mean, maybe he could be if he wanted to, but his current style is still a fan channel. You know what I mean? Kendra says Vanacek is going to tell his grandkids how great his Stanley Cup run and might exaggerate a bit. JC says, oh, if you're talking about people at the stream, I count for 3. I stream y'all on every platform on 2 different computers and a phone. We'll take it. It's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, a lot of people like to watch them suffer, no doubt. And, hey, even when the first few years of this channel, 200 views, 200 views. We got shut out 5-0, 800 views. Just people love to see the guys suffer. They love to see the fans suffer. You know what I mean? They love to see the rants. The recap for Game 6 when we lost to Edmonton has double the views than the recap when we won the cup. Double. At least it did at some point. Three of us says, I did not want to pay Seth Jones. Well, we paid him. Oh, good question. Guitarco says, at what point does this team get considered with the big 3 Heat and the 72 Fins team? One more cup. Pente says Zito was mafia boss. Yeah. OG says, yeah, just don't Stamkos him. He's such a tough decision there. Hey, Blair, how you doing, bud? Yeah, right back at you, buddy. Good luck, man. Praga says Forsing's at $5 million a year. Why not Ekblad? I mean, if we could to give Bennett 8 and to give Ekblad 5, you probably got to move Rodriguez. Okay. Because of Boquist now. And don't leave out Sordev. I mean, we got to make room at some point. But that's all got to happen quick. JC. Yeah, Forsling makes up for Ekblad mistakes. It's very true. Donna says Bob only needed about 3 years to be part of the core. The first 2 years weren't good. Do I personally want to keep Ekblad? If the price is right, yeah, sure. Just to try to replace him, you're not going to get an equal viable replacement for cheaper. And I guess if you went out and find another guy like Mikkola, right? But for what he's meant to the team and the locker room and everything, I think Bennett's got to be a priority, but I think you got to try to find a way to sign Ekblad. Praga says, I've heard that some of the teams are now writing performance expectations into contracts. Plus minus for D, number of goals for forwards. So if you make less, you underperform. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, Trey says Marchand to Montreal would be more torture for Bruins fans. No doubt. Pente doesn't like Dangle. I can't watch like every game. I can't, you know what I mean? But when we play Toronto, it's interesting to see, what another creator goes through. Hey, Rosato, how you doing, bud? Yeah, hit the like button. Appreciate that, Craig. Oh, actually, yeah, sure. Dangle, yeah, sure. He turns it up for the camera, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, Steven, that's probably a Canadian thing, right? Rosado says it's like the media. Misery is entertaining, exactly, IDK. Yeah, they only like the bad stuff, right? Glenn says Vanacek just got across today on the overtime wraparound from last month. Oh my God, that's funny. Hey, Mike, how you doing, bud? Pente, I agree. I think Ekblad will stay. Damien says I heard people in Miami sports radio considering them the big three Heat. I mean, to me, it's totally. I don't think you can compare, in my opinion, basketball to hockey with accomplishments that way. Basketball is so much easier. A team can be dominant with two top players, the two right top players, and a little bit of a supporting cast, and the team can be absolutely dominant. You just give some free agent, a hot free agent, all the money. But a hockey team is just there's so much that goes into building a roster, drafting and developing and all of that. There's so much more that goes into building a hockey team. I think comparing them to the big three is a disservice because let's face it, Miami just kind of bought some guys. It's different, in my opinion. Pente says, "But I signed Ekblad 5 by 4.5." Yes. Bennett first. If Bennett wants 4 by 8, 5 by 8, maybe. If that's the sticking point, if Bennett says 5 by 8 or I leave, you give him 5 by 8. You trade Rodriguez. You give Ekblad whatever the hell like what Pente's saying, 5 by 4.5. You already have Rodriguez replacement with Boquist. Enough. You see if Sordiff can come into the lineup and make a difference like Sam Iskevich, and you're done. You know what I mean? You're solid at that point. I absolutely agree that Bennett at 8 is an overpayment, but not if it's winning you a cup. The difference between this team with and without Bennett is too big. You're not paying for the player that Bennett is. You're paying to keep Lundell and Luosterainen on the third line. That's what you're paying when you pay him 8. Hayden says, we're winning tonight. The team was sick, and they know what's on the line tonight. We'll find out. Hey, Andrew. Thank you, bud. Thank you, Andrew. He says, we need Mikula here long-term. He's just so steady. I think we have another – he's either got 1 or 2 more years on his deal. I think it's either 1 or 2 more years on his deal. Let me see. Let me look at that real quick here. Let me see what Nikola. Now give me his contract. He signed a 3-year deal. So next year is the last year of his deal. So he's got 1 more year. So that's another guy that we need to take a look at for sure. 305. I am unfortunately not the guy to ask about drafting in any sport, to be honest with you. I don't pay any attention to the minor leagues, AHL, and any of that. I just don't have the brain. I don't have the brain cells for it. I used to when I was younger, but I just don't have the brain cells for it these days. Yeah, Adonis says Alex Lyon 2x900. Yeah. Yeah, 2.5 for Mikla is crazy, right? There were nobody wishing injuries on Domi, Hayden. That didn't happen. Stop coming, all of you Leaf fans from Reddit. Stop coming to my stream. Stop coming to my comment section and making shit up. Act like a fucking adult. Grow up. All Trey said was that he hoped Domi fought Gadjevich. And you know it. You spread shit around me, you're going to regret it. You came to my comments saying I wished the Leafs were sick. I got people in this comment section from Toronto telling me they were sick. So which one is it, douchebags? Don't start your shit. All right? You want to come, you want to troll, you want to chirp, that's fine. You start lying, dog shit, and you're out the door. I don't put up with it. Not here. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Kachukin says you can't discount the fact that Lundell and Lucic can speak Finnish on the ice, and other guys have no idea what they're saying. Interesting. Interesting. I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about it that way. That's a good point. That's an interesting point. I wonder how much of an effect that has. Huh. I had not thought about that whatsoever. Yeah, man, this week, I mean, it's been nuts this week with people lying. It's just like, what is wrong with people? Unbelievable. Real says, I hope we win 1-0. The Marchand scores with 5 seconds left in the third. Now that sounds like fun. It sounds stressful. It definitely sounds stressful. But it sounds like fun. Jiggy said, Steve Dangle said the Leafs must be sick after game 4 and was dead serious. It was hilarious. I hate the media. I mean, maybe they were. Maybe they were. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt in my recap because I know I've seen Florida when we've gone to Calgary and we go to Western Canada and all of that. I've seen us play like the Leafs played the other night, and then we find out a bunch of guys were sick. So I was like saying they got to be sick, right? Because the alternative is much worse. So it's just like, make up your minds. Man. Andrew, that's the truth, man. It's all real here. It's all real here. Oh my God, JC. Oh. Hey, Puck Rocks. Hey, how you doing, bud? You're horrified for Leash. I hope whoever wins, you're hoping for 7. OEL was the only one listing as illness. Shit, Michael, it's unbelievable. Well, it's all good. It's all good, right? Now, I got to roll because I got to go get my house ready. Finish it tonight. Tonight we finish it. We need to do it. We need to end the thing with the Leafs fans and everything that's going on that way. I don't want to have to deal with it anymore. Not the good Leafs fans. There's a lot of good Leafs fans that come, but I just like. There's been a few that I'm just like can't wrap my head around how people's brains work that way. Yeah, I agree. Handshakes tonight. I like how you're saying it. Handshakes tonight. All right, everybody. Appreciate that, Steven. Yeah, it's cool, man. I'm used to it. It's all right. It's good. All right. Appreciate all the support. Thank you all for all the super chats. We will see you live tonight. We're ready. We're locked and loaded, ready to go. 8 o'clock. I'll even make sure Kyle is sober and awake. So we're there. All right, everybody. We'll see you tonight.